So how do you show that you want it? How do you show that effort through the whole rehearsal process? That's what we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to talk about. So for one, let's talk about how we can prepare.
Cool.
Let's start there.
I love this one.
Yes, how can we prepare? So, Mr. Human, should I only prepare by coming to rehearsal and having my script and that's it?
Come on.
Oh, no. I can't believe I asked that.
I know. What are you doing? Hey, that's such a good question. I think sometimes we don't even ask that question to ourselves. I think a lot of times I see a lot of actors that don't even think about the fact that they could do more.
Right.
And so they just do the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum. Showing up and just having your script. And a lot of people don't even do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So do at least that.
Like,
but then do more than that. Know your character, or at least start. At least start to know your character, start to know your scenes, start to know your songs. When I'm working with someone, the rehearsal schedule says they have a song that we're doing in 2 weeks.
Oh.
And they show up to rehearsal and say, okay, what are we doing?
Oh.
And I say, sing your song for me. Because I'm expecting that because that was on the schedule, they're coming to rehearsal, they know their part, they know their song.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So I kind of went around a little bit, but
no, I love it.
The first thing that I would say is to prepare, not just bring your script, but know your script.
Yes.
Know your songs.
Yes.
And at least know a little bit about your character, because the director will help you develop that.
Right.
And where they want it to go. And the music director will help you develop your song, and the director will help you develop your lines and the way you say them and the way you interact. But you come knowing it so that it can be molded. Yes. If you come knowing nothing, then the director has to step back and teach you
who
the
you
basics. I've spent 30 minutes teaching someone a song that I could have spent 30 minutes crafting that song.
Yeah. Oh.
And then you have to understand that takes the whole show. You understand. That takes the whole show from here and moves it down. Every time a character comes in, not getting that extra work, the extra character work, or the extra vocal work, it just brings the whole thing down a little bit. But if you come in knowing your stuff, we can take the show up.
Completely. Oh, it is so... And it's so much more fun that way.
Yeah.
It's coming in. So remember, we talked about coming into an audition, having researched, and don't stop that, right? So now you've received your role.
Right.
Get to know your character. If you're in the chorus, build your character.
Yeah.
That's
true.
You should have a backstory still, and you should know why you're singing. At the end of the day, we keep going to Les Mis. You should know why you're singing "Seize the Day."
Exactly.
In Newsies. Why? Because if I don't know that, then I am not going to have the same umph and charisma that needs to be there.
You have to know your motivation.
Oh, you
for
have
why
to.
You're doing, whether you're a lead or ensemble, it doesn't really matter. It's the same across the board.
Doesn't really matter. I oftentimes will find that chorus member that is just stand out, and I cannot keep my eyes off of that person.
Right.
And that's the person who has developed a character.
Yes.
They know why they're on stage the whole time. And when you come prepared, when you come you at least know the song, and now you're ready to be molded. Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun, and that's when you get to really figure out exactly how to sing that note, and then the emotion that goes behind it, and you get to work and it's so much fun. So
good.
Yeah. So you come, you should know what is being worked on that day. And the goal would be to have worked on it ahead of time, or to have gone over those lines ahead of time.
Right.
To have listened to the song. You're familiar with it. Right. So what we're saying, Mr. Human, rehearsal is with your director and cast, but you should also be doing some work ahead of time.
Right.
And after.
Yes. So you should be practicing beforehand, getting ready for what you are expecting to do that day.
Mm-hmm.
Practicing your songs, learning your lyrics, melodies, and all those things, and scenes.
Yeah.
And then after rehearsal, say you just did a big dance number.
Ooh.
You should also be practicing after rehearsal,
Yes.
because you're gonna have another rehearsal where you're gonna need to know everything that you just learned.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. We can tell
Oh, for sure.
every cast member who did or did not go home and practice.
Yes.
And let me tell you something else. Directors remember
Ooh, they do.
for the next show
Yeah,
how you rehearsed for the last show.
they do.
And that's at every level.
Every level.
Elementary school, college, professional, Broadway, West End, all that. Directors know you can't fake it that good.
No
You
way.
either know your stuff or you don't.
Right. So, and you should know based off of the rehearsal. And if you have questions, that's when you ask the dance captain, the
Right.
choreographer, the
Mhm.
music director. Hey, it is really up to you.
It's up to you. Ooh.
Yes, sometimes there will be tools given to you to help. Maybe a video, that is a luxury. You should never rely on there being a video.
Mhm.
And if you need to rely on that, you need to make the video yourself,
Yes.
right?
Always be ready to get what you need.
Get what you need. If you need that, and that's great, and we have technology now to do that,
Mhm.
but it should never be reliant on the director providing that for you.
Right.
If you need a video, if you need a recording,
Yeah.
do it. Ask first.
Mhm.
Can I record this?
Right.
And if they say yes, then record it. But
And they'll probably say yes.
and they will probably say yes. But that's an added tool, not for you to expect. If it's given to you from the directorial team,
Mhm.
great. But really, it is up to you to get those tools if that's what you want and or need.
So good.
Yeah.
One of the ways that you're able to practice after rehearsal is recordings.
Mm-hmm.
But time-tested, age-old way is to bring a pencil with your script.
I would never think of coming to rehearsal without a pencil.
Never. And why? Tell me why.
Oh my goodness, because that's your time. The script is yours, right? This is your own personal journal,
Ooh.
kind of. Yeah? So that's your moment for you to write down every single note any of the directors gives you. So you're blocking notes. And if someone were to open up my script, I don't think they would understand my blocking notes because I've figured out my own shorthand so
Right.
that it's just like X, cross, blah, blah, blah.
Which is cool when you kind of get your own language.
Yeah.
Shorthand.
It is great. So figure out your own shorthand or ask one of us and we can help
Yeah.
you figure that out too. But you should have all your blocking written down. All your blocking written down.
Because, okay, sorry.
No, go.
One of the least favorite questions of a director
Oh.
is, where do I go
Oh.
if it was already told to you?
If it was already told to you.
If you haven't been told yet, we'll let you know. But if you've been told once, you should be prepared to remember.
You should be, and
Okay, sorry.
no, that is so, because in that moment, what is being thought in the mind of the director is, why don't they remember this? Why was this not written down?
Right.
Why was there not enough care to have written it down?
Mm.
The director
Right.
wants you to take a minute to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
They want rehearsal to pause for a second for you to write a new thing down.
Mm-hmm. You do have to learn how to write quick
You do?
so that you get it in there.
Right. That's why you can't write first I will go to, and you can't write in full sentences. It needs to be quick. But
But, can I say this too?
yes.
If you're focused on rehearsal, you have 20 seconds while they're working with the other character.
Yes.
If you're not talking to your friends,
Ooh.
come on.
Ooh.
Then you can work on your script for 20 seconds and write it down.
You can.
There's always time to do what you need to do if you're using your time wisely.
Which means that you've also gone home with this little journal,
Mhm.
and when you've practiced at home, you have practiced And whether or not you have the space to get up and do the whole thing,
Right.
you in your mind are able to go, okay, and in this moment I am crossing stage left and I am picking up the coffee mug
Yes.
and drinking a cup of coffee.
Yes. That's good.
Just like
Really good
that.
moment.
Right. It's up to you. It is also up to you as the director gives you character notes. So sometimes I will like really, really underline a word because I know that that's the word that I have been directed to emphasize.
Right.
Or I write in this moment the emotion that's happening, and it should be pretty clear in the script, but maybe the director has given me something to work with and several emotions that I'm working through, and I write that, or what I'm feeling towards the other character.
That's
It's
good.
your journal. It really is your journal. And so the reason you could do it in pencil is the thing you have to remember is it could change.
It could change.
It could change.
I was just gonna say that.
Yes.
We have to be flexible as performers.
We do. And there's lots of reasons why it could change. It could be that we've rehearsed the scene, maybe we're even in dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we've rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and there's just something not working.
Yep.
The director has the ability to change it, even once the show has started. Mr.
Right.
Freeman, can I tell you about something?
Go. I like stories.
I was in my final show at Cal Baptist.
Yeah.
And we did a preview night, but it was like a fancy preview night where people who were donating money to the school were, like, it was a big night. I don't know why they
Yeah.
changed it. Basically our last dress rehearsal.
Someone's
The
idea.
show ended up running for 3 hours.
Oh, whoa.
And we had done our role. That's not because anyone had messed up. That's not because of anything. It just wasn't tight yet. It wasn't as tight as it could be. Do you know what happened before opening night?
I'm curious.
We had to show up to rehearse.
Wow.
We had to show up to rehearse, and the director said, we need this to be like on top of each other's lines. This cannot be a 3-hour show. So we had to practice how to still have all the dramatics of the show,
Ooh.
yet not be 3 hours long.
That's good.
Oh man. And then we had to go on that night.
That's good. Wow.
Yeah. And it's not because anyone had done anything wrong.
Right.
We just had still gotten to that point where we had our first show and we realized, ooh, it needs to be tighter. Everyone had done their part. Everyone was doing exactly what they were being told to do, and now we were shifting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say about being flexible. It's a good skill to have, to know that if you're given blocking or a specific harmony in a song, it's a good skill to be able to switch.
Yes.
On the fly. Otherwise, you get stuck. You get stuck in a character. You get stuck in a way of doing things.
Yep.
And anytime you get changed because it needs to be changed and for the benefit of the show, it's gonna grow you.
Right.
So don't be shut off to being stretched. You may not understand why it's changing. You may be one of those people who's like, okay, I got it all together, and now it's changing and my life is falling apart. Just learn to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you grow.
Yeah. So we should talk about that a little bit more.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're the kind of reminder we need.